If you follow the trade papers, you know that the historical biopic has become a bit of a dirty word in Hollywood lately, often synonymous with Oscar bait or formulaic storytelling. But every few years, a project claws its way out of development hell that reminds us why we mine history for drama in the first place. That is the case with James Vanderbilt's Nuremberg. Welcome back to the channel, film business fanatics. Today, we are taking a subjective look at one of the most talked about releases of the year. This film didn't just appear on the slate, it was a decade-long exorcism for writer-director James Vanderbilt. You know Vanderbilt from his script for Zodiac and the Scream franchise, and you can see that same obsessive DNA here. This project marks a significant shift for him, stepping fully behind the camera for a serious historical blockbuster. He acquired the rights to Jack Elhai's non-fiction book, The Nazi and the Psychiatrist, way back in 2012. Vanderbilt has gone on record saying this was the hardest script of his career, primarily because of the terrifying tightrope walk required. How do you humanize a monster without sympathizing with him? It took years to crack the code, with Russell Crowe attached as early as 2019, waiting for the green light that finally came through a partnership with Walden Media, Bluestone Entertainment, and Mythology Entertainment. This wasn't a studio committee movie. This was a passion project that required independent financing to maintain its jagged edges. And those edges are exactly what make the narrative so compelling. While the title suggests a sprawling courtroom drama, the film is actually a claustrophobic psychological thriller disguised as history. The story pivots away from the tribunal bench and into the interrogation room, focusing on the immediate aftermath of World War II. With Adolf Hitler dead, the highest-ranking surviving Nazi leader, Reichsmarshal Hermann Göring, becomes the central, defiant figure. The film's engine is the real-life relationship between Göring and American psychiatrist Douglas Kelley. Kelley's mission was ostensibly to determine if the Nazi high command was fit to stand trial, but the film peels back a darker layer: Kelley's own ambition to dissect evil and write a bestseller. He enters a battle of wits with Göring, who, stripped of his medals and drugs, turns out to be not a raving lunatic, but a charming, manipulative genius. This cat-and-mouse dynamic forces the audience to confront a deeply uncomfortable theme. While the setting is the world's most famous war crimes tribunal, the main theme is deeply personal: the nature of evil. The film posits that evil doesn't always look like a monster. Sometimes it looks like a gregarious uncle who loves art and his family. The banality of evil is a phrase we throw around in film criticism often, but Nuremberg weaponizes it. The central tension isn't whether Göring will hang, we know history, but whether Kelley can survive the proximity to such charismatic darkness without losing his own moral compass. It explores how easily we can be seduced by personality, a theme that feels dangerously relevant to the current political climate of the 2020s. It's a chilling cautionary tale, underlined by the philosopher R.G. Collingwood's quote that closes the film: "The only clue to what man can do is what man has done." Executing this kind of psychological nuance required a heavyweight cast, and the acting here is the film's strongest selling point. Securing actors of this caliber is a testament to the script's gravity. The main players are Russell Crowe as Hermann Göring, delivers what is arguably his best performance in 20 years. He plays Göring with a terrifying warmth, shedding the caricature to play a man who is fully aware of his crimes and entirely unrepentant. It is a massive, screen-commanding turn. Rami Malek as Douglas Kelley makes a fascinating if divisive choice. He plays the psychiatrist with a nervous, brittle energy that contrasts sharply with Crowe's grounded arrogance, generating undeniable tension. Michael Shannon as Robert Jackson, the chief U.S. prosecutor who serves as the film's moral anchor when the psychological games get too murky, fighting to establish the trial's legality. Leo Woodall as Sergeant Howie Triest, Kelley's interpreter, a German-born Jew whose presence adds a haunting personal stake to the proceedings. Ultimately, Nuremberg succeeds because it refuses to be the dry history lesson the industry expected. My subjective verdict is that it is an engrossing character study of the highest order. Even if it takes a few cinematic liberties for dramatic effect, it proves that in a marketplace dominated by IP and franchises, there is still a voracious appetite for mid-budget, adult-skewing dramas, provided they have the courage to look the audience in the eye and not blink. It asks a necessary question: if evil is not an insane anomaly, but a potential within ordinary men, how do we ever truly inoculate ourselves against it?